Good morning, this is the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023. Starting with precipitation for the past 7 days, here we can see the observed amounts on the left and the percent of normal on the right. This doesn't include the precip from yesterday, which we had fill in across eastern Idaho, western Wyoming, and northern Utah. But it has been a pretty wet week overall with that low pressure system that moved in over the weekend. This morning's satellite imagery shows that low pressure system still hanging on to the Great Basin. That will clear off it's already beginning to clear off a bit to the east by later in the day today. And then we have this big area of high pressure building in to the west coast, and that will continue to move into the western U.S., bringing warm and dry conditions for the second half of the work week and into the weekend. So a closer look for today by this afternoon, that low will continue to march off to the east. Our ventilation rates are pretty good today with all of that mixing with the low pressure system. So looking at the transport winds today, not a lot of strong winds out there, some gustier conditions in northeast Utah as the low exits the area. And our mixing heights are pretty high in some areas as well across much of Utah and southern Nevada, a little bit lower along the Snake River Plain. On Wednesday, that low exits to the east, and we start to see the ridge of high pressure building a little bit more across the western U.S. Our ventilation rates are still pretty high across the area. Transport winds are still generally light across Nevada and Utah, picking up a bit over Idaho and western Wyoming, and then some higher values across southwest Utah as well. Mixing heights are pretty high. Generally high region-wide on Wednesday. On Thursday, that ridge continues to build in, and this is going to be the story for the remainder of the work week and into the weekend. Ventilation rates still pretty good across the area, but we will see them deteriorating. Transport winds are pretty light by Thursday as the ridge begins to move overhead. Mixing heights are still somewhat elevated across portions of the area, especially southern Nevada and southern Utah. Take a look at our clearing index for Utah for the next 3 days. For today, some pretty high values are expected over eastern Utah, and the values decrease Wednesday and into Thursday as the high pressure ridge builds over the area. The 3-day precip totals are shown here. This precip is mostly today, expected mostly today, as that low pressure continues to influence the area before it moves out beginning on Wednesday. And again, on Friday, the high pressure ridge still dominating the picture. Our ventilation rates begin to decrease across the north underneath that high pressure ridge. And same story on Saturday, continued warm, dry, sunny conditions, and our ventilation rates are down across certain areas, especially eastern Idaho and parts of Utah. Maximum temperatures for Saturday are shown here. With that ridge moving overhead, we are going to be quite warm in some areas for the time of year and generally dry. So highs in the upper 70s in Boise, mid 80s are possible in western Nevada, and then warmer further south. On Sunday, that ridge is still hanging on across the Great Basin, but we do see another trough beginning to move into the Pacific Northwest that will break down that ridge a bit. Ventilation rates are not great across the area on Sunday. And Monday, that trough kind of opens up across the Pacific Northwest and northern Rockies, bringing some moisture to the northern portions of the area. The precipitation accumulations for days 4 and 5, here we're looking at Friday through Sunday, are clear, so that ridge still hanging on through the weekend for dry, sunny conditions. We might see that moisture come into the Pacific Northwest early in the week, Monday or Tuesday. And the extended forecast for October 10th through the 16th puts the bullseye of heat over the northern plains, but with above normal temperatures across much of the Great Basin. And then we see above normal chances for precip over the Pacific Northwest, clipping western Idaho and northern Nevada. And this concludes today's smoke dispersion briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.